Hey guys, this is Heroic Flamingo and welcome to my Guild Wars 2 class guide for the Deadeye. In this video we'll be looking at the Deadeye's exclusive weapon and all of the individual weapon skills. I'll then be looking at the healing, utility and elite skills they have at their disposal. I'll then look at how it overhauls the Thief's base profession mechanics and then move on to the individual traits within the elite specialization to see how you can make yourself even more powerful. So if you're interested in playing as a Deadeye, or if you already are and you want to know more, strap in and we'll get started right now. Okay, so before we go into the detail, I just want to give you a quick profession overview for the Deadeye. So the Deadeye is the second elite specialization for the Thief, and is unlocked in the Path of Fire expansion. Mercenaries for hire. Deadeye stalk and mark their targets and generate malice towards them, increasing damage and harassing them with harmful effects. They use rifle for precise skills. So the Deadeye is actually more based around ranged combat, which is different to the other elite spec for the Thief, which is more based around melee combat. So you unlock the rifle as a new weapon, you unlock a new type of skills called cantrips. Your original steal ability is replaced by Deadeye's mark, which helps mark the target and mixes in with this new mechanic that they've got called malice, and we'll go into that a little bit later in the video and explain that all to you. So the first thing I want to have a look at are the weapon skills. Okay, so the first thing I want to have a look at is the new and exclusive weapon for the Deadeye. So this is the two-handed rifle. So not only does this give us 5 weapon skills to play with here, actually our 5th weapon skill puts you into a stance called Kneel, which gives you brand new 1 to 4 abilities as well. So I'll be going into that as well when I get to number 5. So I'll just show off the initial ability for all of these first, but I'll be going through each of them and reading them out to you and then demonstrating them as well. Okay, so our number 1 ability on the rifle is Brutal Aim. So fire a shot that inflicts vulnerability on your target. Applies additional vulnerability when used against your marked target. So any references to your marked target refers to the F1 ability Deadeye's Mark. We're going into this in a lot more detail in the profession mechanics part of the video, so just know if it mentions that on any of the skills, that's what it's referring to. So I'll go into the Kneel abilities afterwards, like I said, and the stealth attack abilities I'll go into later as well. So this is basically just going to be a shot from 1200 range, so if you do it from far away, it's going to do decent damage, and it's also going to apply vulnerability to the enemy as well. So that's pretty good, so let's try this out. I like that effect. Weird noises with the Deadeye as well, actually. Alright, nice, so that's going to stack vulnerability on the enemy as well, which means they're going to take damage from extra damage from all sources, which is always good. Our number 2 ability is Skirmisher's Shot, and this costs 3 initiative. So fire a bullet, it says fire a bullet, so I don't know why it says that. Fire a bullet that inflicts conditions on your target and grants you a boon. Okay, so a couple of things here. It's going to be from 1200 range, it's going to hit up to 5 targets, it's going to cripple the enemy, and it's going to grant us swiftness. Boom. There you go, so we've got swiftness, and they've got cripple. Boom. And might as well, looks like it gives us, which is cool. So that's a couple of things there. Gives you boons, gives them conditions while doing a bit of damage as well. A number 3 ability is Double Tap, and this costs 6 initiative. So fire 2 bullets that grant might if they hit your target. Okay, so once again 1200 range, it's going to shoot twice, and if it hits you're going to get might as well. And so quick fire there, does decent damage. Like I said, it costs 6 initiative, so that's quite a lot to be fair. Yeah, decent damage there, whilst also putting might on you as well, so you're going to be doing more damage with your next few attacks. Your number 4 ability is Death's Retreat, which also costs 6 initiative. So shadow step away from your target and lose conditions. Poisons foes at your starting location. Alright, so this is, you're going to shadow step 600 distance away. It's going to leave a poison radius for 8 seconds, a radius of 180, and that can hit up to 5 enemies and does some damage as well. So it's also going to lose some conditions off you, so it's going to remove some conditions, which is good. But do bear in mind that the poison it leaves is at your starting location. So you kind of want to use this if your enemies get close to you and you want to move back and attack them from range, because then you'll leave poison on them, and then you can shoot a bunch of attacks from range as well, which would be good. So let's go up to this guy and see what this looks like. So this guy comes up to us and we want to get some distance between us. We'll use that. Boom, there you go. Poison the enemy and all enemies in that area. Now we've got some distance and we can whack out our other skills. So that's a pretty effective way of getting some space between you and the enemy as well. So our number 5 skill is kneel and costs 1 initiative. So become immobile and gain access to kneel skills, which have increased projectile velocity. You can still dodge roll while kneeling. Kneel is cancelled if you swap weapons or become disabled. Alright, so let's have a look at this. So this will put us into a stance in which we will get a whole new set of 1 to 4 abilities here. And it also increases the velocity of our projectiles, and we can still dodge roll while using it, but we'll come out of it if we weapon swap or if we get disabled, so if someone stuns us or something like that. So let's have a look to see what skills we get. So if I use this, there you go. So we're actually now in the kneel mode, and like I said, we can dodge roll. So you can't walk around, so you can't move around, so do bear that in mind, just sort of trapped in place. So this is probably a good thing to use maybe if the enemy's far away and maybe someone else is attacking them and taking the aggro. You can just go into this mode and whack out your cool new skills. So if you press your number 5, you're going to stop kneeling and move freely, and like I said, you can dodge roll as well. So let's have a look. So we've got a whole new 1 to 4 abilities here to look at. So our number 1 ability while kneeling is deadly aim. So fire a shot that inflicts vulnerability on your target. Applies additional vulnerability against your marked target. Okay, so that's pretty much the same as it was in without kneeling, but it does do a bit more damage, and the range on these abilities is actually 1500. So I suppose by kneeling you're actually getting a bit more range on the enemy as well. So boom, there you go. So that does a bit more damage than the base one there. So that's pretty cool. Nice. So our number 2 is Spotter's Shot, which is fire a bullet that grants you boons and inflicts conditions on your target. This costs 3 initiative, so pretty much the same, but it's got more range and it's going to have a bit more of an effect there. As you can see, immobilize and cripple. So it's just some added effects. So just by being in this stance, your skills are basically similar but are more effective. So your number 3 is Free Round Burst, which costs 6 initiative, and it's fire 3 bullets that grant might if they hit your target. So normally it was 2 bullets, but while we're kneeling it's 3, and it still grants us might there. 4 stacks there, so that's pretty cool. So as you can see, quite a high damage ability there as well. And then finally, our number 4 ability while kneeling is Sniper's Cover, which costs 4 initiative. So create a barrier of shadows that blocks incoming missiles. This can last for 5 seconds, and it's going to block missiles in front of you. So if you hold your number 4, you can place it down in any sort of direction. You can't move it around because obviously it's supposed to be in front of you, but face it towards your enemy. There you go. So that's going to block any projectiles, but you can obviously still fire through it, so you can do all the damage to your enemy while they can't hit you with their projectiles. So if I press my number 5 again, there you go, I'm out of kneel, I can move around, but I can use it again straight away, and it only costs 1 initiative to go into it. So it's a pretty cool thing there, and it just means that you're not just getting your normal 5 weapon skills, you've got some extra things as well. So I think it's actually a pretty cool mechanic there, and does make this weapon a little bit unique for the Deadeye as well. So that's all of the weapon skills for the Deadeye. So the next thing I want to have a look at are the healing skills. Alright, so now I want to have a look at the new healing skill for the Deadeye. So this is our first look at one of the new cantrip abilities, and this is called Malicious Restoration and has a 30-second cooldown. So transfer your conditions to your marked target and then heal yourself. So this links in with your F1 marked ability, which I said we'll go into when we do the professional mechanics part of the video. But basically, you know, you're going to be using that to mark your enemies, and when you use this, you're going to transfer your conditions over to your marked target, and that will transfer up to 3 conditions, which is pretty cool, and can do it from a range of 1500, so from quite far away. And then once it's done that, it's going to heal yourself with a decent sized heal as well, which you'd expect. So let's just have a quick demonstration of what this looks like. Alright, that's a pretty cool animation there. Nice sound as well. So that's, yeah, like I said, that's going to transfer those conditions over to your marked target, as well as giving you a nice chunk heal as well. So that's the new healing skill. So the next thing I want to have a look at are the new utility skills. Okay, so now I want to have a look at the new utility skills for the Deadeye. So this is these 4 new skills here, all cantrip abilities. So I'm going to equip the first 3 now, have a look at them, show them off, and then we'll equip the 4th one afterwards as well. Alright, so your first one is Shadow Gust and has a 30-second cooldown. So knock away nearby foes with a burst of shadow magic. Then stealth yourself. If this skill hits your marked target, they'll be launched instead. So effectively all these counter abilities will have a different ability if they're marked. So if you use your F1 ability on them, it will have a slightly different effect. So normally, so I'm just going to demonstrate it without being marked. They're going to be knocked away and you're going to hit nearby foes with burst of magic, and then you're going to stealth yourself. So you're going to stealth yourself for 3 seconds, you're going to knock back enemies 450, and it's going to hit up to 5 enemies in a radius of 240. Alright, so let's try this out. So if I go up to this guy here, I use this. There you can see, pushes him back as well as anyone else around me there. And there you go, so that stealthed me as well. So if you want to link it in with using your stealth attacks or something like that, you obviously can, which is pretty cool. Next up we've got Binding Shadow, which has a 30-second cooldown. So immobilize your target after a short delay and remove their boons. If the foe is your marked target, it's also knocked down. So yeah, you can put immobilize on the enemy, and after a short delay, it's going to remove boons off of them as well. So it's going to immobilize, a bit of poison, a bit of vulnerability, and obviously extra thing, it's going to knock them down as well if they're the marked target. So potentially I can try that out on this guy. So if I mark this guy, and you can do it from 1200 range. Boom, there you go. So that has all those effects: poison, vulnerability. What else was it? Oh yeah, immobilize, and also knocks them down as well. So quite a few cool effects there. Alright, so this one is Mercy and has a 30-second cooldown. So lose all malice. Instantly refresh Deadeye's mark and gain initiative. Gain additional initiative for each stack of malice you had prior to using this skill. So I'll go into malice in a bit more detail and look at the profession mechanics. But when you have a marked target, you're going to build up malice, which is this thing here, and you're going to spend it. So you're going to lose all of that. You're going to refresh your Deadeye's mark, so the cooldown on your F1 ability is going to come to an end. You're going to gain some initiative, so you're going to gain 3 initiative, and you're going to gain an extra initiative for each stack of malice you take off yourself as well. Also breaks stun as well, just as an extra thing. That's pretty cool. So let's have a look. There you go. So that's going to spend that. It's going to bring your initiative back, break stun, and you know, lose your cooldown on your Deadeye's mark as well, which is pretty cool. Let's quickly swap this to my 4th utility skill as well. So this is called Shadow Flare and has a 30-second cooldown. So throw an orb of shadow magic that damages nearby foes at your targeted location. You may reactivate this skill to swap places with the orb. Deals increased damage to your marked target. Alright, so this is a ground target ability. So you're going to throw this orb of magic. It's going to damage enemies in a radius of 240 up to 5 targets. It's going to pulse 5 times, lasts for 4 seconds. And you may reactivate the skill to swap places with the orb, so it means you can travel using it as well. So let's have a look. If I place this down on this guy, and then I can swap it. So you see it was pulsing there, damaging everyone in the area, or I can also just press that again to swap places with them. So that's a pretty cool way of moving around as well as doing a little bit of AoE damage as well. So that's all of the new utility skills for the Deadeye. So the next thing I want to have a look at is the new elite skill. Okay, so now I want to have a look at the new and exclusive elite skill for the Deadeye. So this is an elite cantrip ability, and it's called Shadow Meld, and it has a 5-second cooldown, but it's got 2 counts with a 45-second count recharge in between them. So it means you can use it twice, but then you're going to have to wait for the count recharge, and that will periodically come back every 45 seconds. So remove revealed and stealth yourself. So revealed is something that can be put on you which stops you from being able to go into stealth. So this removes that and also puts you into stealth for a couple of seconds. So it's quite good in a sticky situation. If you know you've been pulled out of stealth, they put reveal on you and they're going to pile a bunch of attacks on you. You can take that revealed off yourself, go invisible, and then maybe get behind them, hit them with a stealth attack or something like that. Basically take back control of the battle, and you can do it a couple of times as well, which is pretty cool because it is an ammo skill. So let's have a look at this then. So So effectively, we try this out. There you go, as you can see, remove revealed, and then you can go invisible as well. Hit him up with one of your stealth skills, like this. Boom, there you go, and then nice powerful skills as well, so that'll be a nice attack that you can stick in there. So it's a pretty cool ability, and like I said, look, it's got a 45-second count recharge before that comes back. So it's not too bad for an elite skill. You don't have to wait too long for that to come back. So that's a pretty good skill there. It helps you get around the battlefield, helps you go into stealth as well, which is always good when you've got all of these powerful stealth abilities as well. So that's the new elite skill for the Deadeye. So the next thing I want to do is have a chat about the unique profession mechanics. Alright, so now I want to have a look at the unique profession mechanics for the Deadeye. So we've been through a couple of the things already. So obviously you get the new rifle, that's your new weapon. You get cantrip abilities, and you've probably noticed by now that it's more centered on ranged combat, obviously with the new ranged weapon, as opposed to a lot of the stuff about the Thief, especially the Daredevil as well, when it's about up close and personal melee combat. So this is more about ranged combat. So it's an interesting new take on the Thief, focusing on that really. So obviously your F1 is normally still on the base Thief, and that's been replaced by Deadeye's Mark. So this is a completely different thing. It doesn't steal anything or do any of the effects that you would see normally on that. What it does is it marks the target, causing your initiative attacks to generate malice when they hit or critically hit your mark. Lose all malice when the mark ends or when the skill is recast on a new target. Okay, so let's have a look. So this is a 25-second cooldown. So you're going to mark your target, and that means that whenever you hit the enemy with a initiative spending skill, so only pretty much your 2 to 5 skills generally, you're going to gain malice, which is this little bar along here, and I'll demonstrate that all in a minute. This fills up, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 counts of malice there. You'll get 1 bar of malice for using an initiative spending ability, and if you critically hit with that ability, you'll gain an additional count of malice as well. So as you can see there, malice gained upon hit, and then critical hit, you get an extra 1 as well. So this lasts for 30 seconds, and you can do it from a range of 1500, so from really far away. So you'll notice as well, quite a lot of abilities, like these cantrip abilities, they have a more powerful effect if used on a marked target, so there are those benefits as well. So you can generally do a little bit more damage, your skills are a little bit better against them, so there's a couple of benefits there. And when you do use that, you'll get an F2 ability as well, which has a little added effect, and I'll show that as well. So what I want to do then is I want to just demonstrate this to you now, just so you can see what it looks like. So if I mark this guy as a target, and then I start using some of these, so there you go, that critically hits, so you get 2 counts of malice there, another couple of counts of malice there, and there you go, so we've got 4 malice there. You've got your F2 ability here, Still Defenses. So gain Aegis and poison your marked target. Gain Stealth if malice is at or above the threshold. So as you can see, there's a couple of things there. It's a nice powerful defensive ability there. Also allows you to go into stealth and come behind the enemy. So there's a couple of things there to bear in mind. And like I said, these have extra abilities when they're marked as well. So you can, it's got, like I said, it's got a last for 30 seconds, but it's a 25-second cooldown, so you can pretty much use it whenever. And if you recast the skill on someone else, or if the enemy dies, then obviously that will be over as well. So there's a couple of different ways that it can end. So the other thing I want to show off is that being a Deadeye unlocks a whole new set of stealth skills. So you've obviously got the new stealth skill on the rifle, but all of your normal stealth skills on your other weapons are changed as well, and they link in with the malice thing here. So you can, that's what you can spend your malice on. So effectively you can use your stealth skills, and they'll be more effective the more malice that you've got on you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to equip the weapons one by one, and I'm going to show off the new stealth skill that links in with the malice. Okay, so with the rifle, our stealth skill is Death's Judgment. So reveal yourself and fire a powerful shot at your target. If this attack hits your mark, it consumes all malice and deals increased damage for each malice consumed. So it does a decent amount of damage there. And damage bonus of 15% per stack of malice. So obviously if you've got 5 stacks of malice, that's going to be quite significant. And it's also going to reveal the enemy, reveal yourself, so that you can't stealth for a few seconds. So do bear that in mind. But obviously you probably won't need to, as you'll just use this when you're coming out of stealth. So what I'll quickly do then is I will mark this target, build up a couple of stacks of malice there, and then we'll go into stealth and use our new ability. So go into stealth, use the stealth attack. Well, you see it lines up the shot there. It does a big, powerful attack. So you know, it does quite a lot of damage there, and you know, it can be quite an effective skill. Okay, so now I've equipped the main hand dagger, and the stealth skill on this is Malicious Backstab, which is attack your foe from the shadows and strike for double the damage if you hit from behind. Consumes all malice when striking your mark to deal bonus damage. So it's going to do a decent amount of damage. You want to use this from behind because it's going to do double the damage anyway, and it's going to do 10% bonus damage per stack of malice. So if you've got 5 stacks of malice, it's going to be an extra 50% damage, and if you attack them from behind, it's already doubled. So as you can imagine, that's going to be quite a powerful ability, so that's pretty awesome. So let's try this out now. So let's mark this guy. Build up a bit of malice. And we'll go behind him. Go into stealth. And then use that. Bam, as you can see. Hit him from behind. Does a big amount of damage there as well. So that's really cool. Okay, so now we've equipped the pistol. And the main hand pistol, that is. And that gives us Malicious Sneak Attack. So sneak attack with a rapid fire from your pistol that makes your foe bleed. Consumes all malice when striking your mark to inflict additional torment per bullet used. So we're going to do a nice little rapid fire. It's going to put bleeding on the enemy, it's going to damage the enemy, and it's going to put stacks of torment on the enemy for all of the malice that we have. So that's pretty cool. So let's demonstrate this now. So if I mark the target,
contract accepted.
Build up a few stacks of malice. Lovely. Get behind him over here. Hit him from behind. Use that. And then dum dum dum. Nice. It's a nice rapid fire there. Does a good amount of damage. And sticks some conditions on as well. So pretty sick ability there. Okay, so now I've equipped the main hand sword. And our stealth attack on this is a Malicious Tactical Strike. So blind your foe by bashing them with your sword hilt, or daze them if you attack from behind. Applies vulnerability. Consumes all malice when striking your mark to restore endurance based on the malice used. Alright, nice one. So we're going to put blindness and vulnerability on an enemy. We're going to damage them. And we're going to gain endurance based on the malice that we use as well. So that's going to get our endurance bar up here. Let's try this out. So if I mark the target, I'll whack him a couple of times with this to build up a bit of malice, and then I'll use my endurance so we can demonstrate that coming back. And then if I do that and then hit him with my number 1 ability, down there you go, you can see the endurance come back. You see it dazes the enemy there as well. So there's a couple of cool effects there, blindness as well. So quite a few conditions stacked on them. Okay, so finally we have the short bow. And our stealth attack on this is a Malicious Surprise Shot. So shoot an arrow that immobilizes your foe. If the arrow hits your marked target, it consumes all malice and splinters, firing new arrows at nearby foes for each malice consumed. Alright, so this is pretty cool. So this is going to immobilize the enemy, do a decent amount of damage, and then based on our malice, it's going to splinter and fire new arrows based on how much malice that we have. So that's pretty cool. So let's try this out. So if I do it on the guy in the middle, mark him, use a couple of skills, build up a bit of malice there. Okay, there you go, full malice. So if I try it from here and see if it splinters out a little bit, so if I use that, and then boom, there you go, you can see that splintered out, hit this guy as well, immobilized him as well, so that sort of bounces and attacks a couple of people. So the more enemies it's got near them, the more it's going to hit them as well, obviously based on how much malice you've got. Okay, so I think that's all of the unique profession mechanics for the Deadeye there. So the next thing I want to have a look at is the individual traits within the specialization. Okay, so now I want to have a look at the elite specialization and the individual traits within it. So I've equipped the Deadeye specialization here. Obviously it's got to go in your third slot as it's an elite specialization. And just by having this on the bar here, we've got rifle proficiency, which means that you can wield rifles, and obviously we've already been through that. Your first passive here is Deadeye's Gaze, which is replaced with Deadeye's Mark, which unlocks new stolen skills and malice generation. Stealth attacks consume malice for bonus effects. Gain access to rifles and cantrips. So that's basically all of the things we've been through. So just by having this first passive, that will give you access to all of those new things for the Deadeye. So our first choice here is Malicious Intent, which is marking a target or striking your mark with a stealth attack will immediately grant malice. So that just helps with malice gain, so you'll be able to build that up even quicker. Next is Collateral Damage. So trigger Burst of Shadows at your target's location if it dies while marked. So if your enemy dies while it's got your F1 mark on it, you're going to do Burst of Shadows, which is going to invoke an explosion of shadows at your marked target location that blinds nearby foes. Next is One in the Chamber. So when you cast a cantrip, gain a random new stolen skill. So that just, if you've got some of these cantrips on your bar here, that's just going to make that even better because you're going to get a new F2 stolen skill as well. So next passive is Renewing Gaze. So Deadeye's Mark recharges if your mark is defeated. Gain regeneration when this recharge occurs. Alright, so that's pretty cool. So if your mark, if someone dies while they've got your mark on them, which is probably going to happen quite a lot, then it's going to recharge so you can use it straight away again. And when you do that, you're going to gain regen as well. So it's just a little buff there. Next choice here is Silent Scope. So gain precision. Gain additional precision while wielding a rifle. Enter stealth when you dodge roll with a rifle equipped. Alright, so there's a couple of cool things there. So just by having this, you're going to gain precision, which is your critical hit chance, and you're going to get additional precision if you're wielding a rifle, which, if you're Deadeye, you're probably going to be incorporating into your build, so this would be a good option. And then also, if you've got the rifle equipped, if you dodge, you're going to get a second of stealth as well, so that's a pretty good way of being able to quickly go into stealth and use your #1 stealth attack. Next is Payback. When Renewing Gaze triggers, this trait restores a portion of the recharge time needed by your healing, utility and elite skills. So whenever you use Renewing Gaze, that's going to get recharge reduction on all of those skills. Premeditation. Deal more damage for each unique boon you have. Concentration is increased. Okay, so 1% bonus damage per unique boon, as well as some extra concentration as well, so just buffing yourself a little bit. So your last passive here is Iron Sight. So damage dealt to your marked target is increased, and damage taken from your marked target is reduced. So marked targets, you'll do 10% extra damage to them, and they'll do 10% less damage to you. So Maleficent 7. So increase the maximum malice stat count. Restore initiative and gain boons upon reaching the maximum number of malice stacks. Alright, so instead of having a malice cap of 5, you'd now have 7 if you choose this ability. And you're going to restore initiative and gain boons whenever you reach that maximum 7. So you've got all these boons here. So it's basically, if you're often going to be building up a lot of malice, you could use this because you're going to stick a bunch of boons on yourself. And then when you spend that malice, that's just going to make your skills even more effective as well. Next is Be Quick or Be Killed. So gain quickness when marking a foe. Your power and precision are increased while under this effect. So whenever you mark an enemy, which you're going to be doing quite a lot, you're going to gain quickness, which is really cool, so your skills and actions are faster. And when you're under that effect, you're also going to get extra power and precision. So whenever you're marking, that's going to have a really good effect on you. So if you're marking people a lot, which you generally should if you're a Deadeye, that's a pretty good option. And then your final one is Fire for Effect. So hitting your marked target with a stolen skill grants boons to allies around your mark and to allies around you. Okay, so this is if you use your F1 and then you use your F2 on the same marked target, then you're going to grant boons to allies around your mark and allies around you. So that's like Fury and Might on up to 10 allied targets in a radius of 360. Okay, so that's all of the traits for the Deadeye. So that just shows you how you can customize your build even more. So the last thing I want to do is I want to throw together a quick Deadeye build and just do a combat demonstration for you, just so you can see what it looks like when it all comes together. Alright, so I've thrown together a quick Deadeye build. I've got the exclusive rifle here, and then I've got dual pistols as my other weapons, just because I want to show off like the range capabilities. And then I've got a nice selection of cantrips all along here, just to show those off, because obviously they're exclusive to the Deadeye. So let's see how this goes.
Might and glory.
Okay, so I think that shows off most of the Deadeye abilities there. So I think that pretty much covers everything. So if you have any more questions about the Deadeye, then just stick them in the comments below and I'll get back to you. If you want to watch any other videos on any of the other classes or elite specializations, then check out the playlist on my channel, as I've now completed every single one of them. If you want to watch a video that goes through all of the classes and elite specializations in one video, then I've got that as well, so do check that out. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later.